turned off when we started the show.
No, it's alright. I don't think it's that big of a problem. I think as long as you keep it low, it's fine.
Is this horn concertos?
Yes.
D major. It's a good one. Did you play
I actually
brass
did a French
instruments or
horn.
French horn? Oh, okay. You're a French hornist.
Played bowling with them one time.
Bowling?
Yep. Go to the Christmas party, I think.
Gotcha.
Alright. Hey, yeah, sorry we're a little late. We'll get started in just a second. The office is open again.
The Office.
You've got the Wallace and Gromit Cup today.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Remind me, I have two things I need to talk about today.
Okay.
Two things.
It's amazing. Looks like I have a mall there. That's interesting.
A mole or a mullet?
Looks like they're at a mall or something.
Oh.
I don't know what they're doing. Oh, when we used to be allowed to be close to each other.
6 years ago.
I remember those days. Seems so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Eighth grade boys.
Remarkable. They look very 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm playing cards with them at this point. Eighth graders.
Spoons.
Spoons.
It's a dangerous game.
Mm-hmm. They were all astonished that I won.
To do.
I crushed them.
Good.
I remember playing spoons with them.
Where's that from? It's Jekyll and Hyde. Alright.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game.
Oh.
Maxon's twin sister, Sydney.
Oh. That's great.
Well, welcome everybody.
Hello,
Hello, hello. We seem a little dark.
We do.
And our camera is so blue.
Oh, that was my bad.
It's okay. No, it's good.
Sorry about that.
Different angle. Did you normally do
+5 or so.
+5?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Glad to have you aboard here for the Fireside Chat. Sorry that we're a little bit late today, and that's gonna be maybe the new normal.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Well, so here's what I mean by that is we have an 8:30 mass Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and also the office is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Susan is there. So this is the first. Well, she was here she was here Wednesday also, but we will often probably be just checking in at the office, just to at least say hi to Susan, because she's only there from 8:30 to 12:30. So it's a little bit of tight timing, and we had to talk about a few things. So that's why we're running a little bit late. And then also, several people were there in the office. Maybe we haven't announced this yet here. We have a new bookkeeper / accountant person here. What are you chuckling at over there?
Oh, I'm just thinking about how we could have made that funny, but it's okay. I was like, we have a new coffee machine.
We have a new coffee machine.
We don't
You're a
have a
brand new car.
Exactly.
His last name is Coffee.
That's right.
Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee.
Mr. Coffee.
Um,
Mr. Coffee Jr.
Um,
Mr. Coffee is his father.
Yes, Mr. Coffee is my dad.
right.
Did you get that? It took a minute. We got it. Okay.
So anyway, Linda Nelson is now our new bookkeeper slash payroll person. So as you know, Deacon Steve Lemons is retiring here at the end of the month of June, and then Rebecca, our accountant, bookkeeper, she is also leaving here shortly. So we've been in a position to try to find those new things. And then also, Brad Roeder is taking over a lot of the facilities side stuff of Deacon Steve. So anyway, Linda Nelson was there, and so we had a couple things I'd take care of with her, trying to get things situated with her. I also briefly saw Mary Losick, and I briefly saw Rebecca. So
I did not briefly see Rebecca.
she came in right after you came in.
Oh.
She might have given me a look of, why do you not have your mask on there, Father?
Mhm.
Because I did not have my mask on, because I left it in the sacristy, and then by the time I realized it, I was already gone. And then one thing led to another, and I ran out to my car to get marriage paperwork. And anyway, so in long, that is why we are a little bit late today. So, and we might be a little bit late on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, because just transitioning the equipment and saying hello to folks and taking care of any fires or whatever they need to be put out might make us a little bit late for the fireside chat at 10. So again, we are just a different schedule
We
now.
don't mean literal fires, generally.
Right, generally. We have put out the fire though for the summer, and I've
Be a
cleaned it
little
out
warm.
and everything. Yes, right. You like how I put those logs in there for effect? Did you notice?
Exactly. Got to keep up appearances.
Yes. So those will burn maybe next November, December. So when we still have no one at mass.
No. Maybe.
But, well, I
No.
was just talking about that with somebody about I would be surprised if we have a full church for Christmas.
You were talking to me about that.
I was
You were
talking to others
depressing
about
me.
that. I was so yeah.
I don't appreciate the negative attitude coming from that direction over there.
Well, a lot of people are just still uncomfortable, and we're hearing about the second wave that might be coming in the fall, and
okay, I just have
everything.
I can't actually show you any of these pictures because these are pictures of our students.
right.
and
So
our
if you're
school.
wondering what he's doing over here,
I'm
what are you
looking
doing
at
over
our
there?
yearbook. This is exciting.
Yeah.
So I'd taken a brief look at this before, but this is the first time I'm really perusing it, and I am greatly excited by this little girl's Halloween outfit, which is an avocado.
Yes.
She is dressed as an avocado, which is incredible.
That is great. So the school yearbook just came in, I think, last week or so.
Right, and I looked at it momentarily when I was running into the office and out, but I hadn't taken time to examine it. I miss the kids a lot.
Yeah.
They're my kids.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. So it's good to have that yearbook in. So how are you all doing? In case you missed him yesterday, this is our seminarian.
Hello.
Why don't you introduce
Hello.
yourself there?
Hi, I'm John Donart. I'm from Sacred Heart in Shawnee, and I go to school in St. John Vianney in Denver.
I'm grabbing a cup of coffee. I'm still Father Ashmore.
Very good. What are we drinking today?
McCafe, I believe.
Okay, we'll bring over our. We are not drinking Lavazza
Lavazza.
today.
Oh, here
We'll
we
save
go.
that for another day. So we'll bring over the. What was that
McCafe?
called?
McCafe.
Yes, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Ten. It's on a 10.
Bucket.
Nope. None of those words are the words I'm looking for.
It's a 10, I think.
Container. Species.
Exhibit. It's not like Exhibit A or visual. What am I talking?
Aid.
Visual
Visual
aid.
aid.
Visual aid. That's what
Here
we're
we
looking
are.
for. Here we go. We are
We
drinking a
have-
big old tin of McCafe. We were inspired by whoever got us that McCafe the other time. It was pretty good. So
It was actually pretty
also
tasty.
really quite cheap at CVS or wherever I got this the other day. So there we go. That's what we needed. Bring in the light.
A little
So.
bit of shadow on our faces. You can't let that happen.
And this tin
No.
is so big that you really don't even need it on the camera. But camera. But while I'm talking about the camera, and before I forget, let me switch on over to say hello to everybody.
Bum.
So, yeah, John, this is a kind of a standard thing that I do each time. So, hello there to my nieces. Hello there. Look, John is here too. You can see him. So
Hello.
he's now in the show.
Yes.
So in the camera. So hello Rachel. Hello Rosalie, and hello Laura. I hope that you're having a great day. And I miss you, and hopefully we'll be able to get together and play some games or watch a show sometime before Christmas. So I hope you're doing well. Hello, Dryling girls, if you are watching. I hope that you have a great day as well. What are you doing for the summer? Are you having fun? What are you doing? And then also I got another shout out here. I want to say hello to Laura Lynn Schneller in La Pointe, and to her husband Michael. And to her 2 kids. So, hello, and I hope that you're having a great day. So, Laura Lynn, hope you're doing well. Your dad gave me this note to give you a shout out. So, there you go. There's your shout out on the Fireside Chat. If anyone else wants a little shout out, just let me know. Give me a note, and I'll give you a shout out. So, I'm not opposed to that, and these are not sponsored. They're not paid advertisements or anything. We get free advertisements, right? That's what we do here on the show.
You get free advertisements. Nobody's asked me otherwise. I've not yet made that decision.
Haven't you? You've talked about coffee houses and taco shops.
You don't necessarily know if that was for free or not.
Oh, Father Ashmore's in rare form again today, or normal form. This is going to be a good one today. I'm ready.
How about that? And my sister Selena says that I don't like music. It's not that I don't like music. Actually, I do really like music. If you listen beforehand, often I'm singing along with it, as you can sing along with a good old French horn. But sometimes it got a little loud, so it was. And I think the music we had yesterday was a little more piercing into my eardrums. So,
yeah. So we've got it very, very soft now. Oh, excellent! Very good. The Dryling girls are riding bikes. That's excellent, and they've hooked up the Bluetooth speaker. Excellent. Very good.
So we played a game last night.
We did. We did. That was fun.
It was. I enjoyed.
So what was
I especially liked the second round.
Yes, when you won like 175 to whatever.
It was only like 71 to like 36, something like that.
Oh,
it was a lot to it all.
I can go grab the visual aid again for that here. Let me
Sure.
just make sure that I'm working on the making sure we're on the tube.
Oh my. So it was called plant salad, right? Point salad.
Or plant salad. That might be better, actually. So point salad we played yesterday. It's a fun quick little game, and I couldn't believe it. Father Ashmore suggested yesterday, and we say, "Wait, hey, we got a free evening. What are we going to do?" And Father Ashmore, to my disbelief, said, "Well, we could play a board game." I'm like, "What?" I've never heard him utter those phrases before. So, as you know, I'm a big board game fan. Father Ashmore occasionally plays, but
I'm full of surprises.
we've never played a game before.
Together? Never?
I don't think so.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, people know me. They know that I have kind of a passion for board games and playing games together, and that's not an option that I've had since the lockdown, because that's not really a socially distant, safe activity. So, now I have been playing a little bit with some friends on. There's a site where they have some of the board games I enjoy playing that are on a digital form, and what has been kind of fun that I've been able to, it's been really fun actually, I've done occasionally is play that, and then we messenger phone call so that we can see each other. I wouldn't want to play a game just like watching the piece move and not having any contact,
right.
but it was really nice. It's as close as you can get to playing a game like around a table. But so we were video conferencing while we were looking at our own individual screens, and it was really pretty fun. So, but it was nice to play a real game in the live. So it's a great little family game. It plays up to 6 players, real quick, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
We played 3 rounds yesterday.
Super easy to learn as well.
Yeah,
it was.
So anyway, a little recommendation there if you're looking for something to do with your families. It works. I've had good success with this game with just about anybody because it's got just enough little strategy, but it's also just light enough, and there's enough luck to don't not take it too personally. Or whatever. So.
Code names. I love code names. So Carly asked about the game Code Names.
Yes, I see that you have that in your room.
I do. Yeah, that was a gift to me from a family with whom I played Code Names many times in my life. So it's a great game. It gets even better if you really know the other people well in the group.
Yes.
It's one of those games if you can try to predict what they would be thinking. You know that I played it with a family who are very close, and the mother understood the way her children thought, and I didn't because they'd be like So the whole point of the game is that you use essentially one word as a code name for other words. It's kind of the idea. So they have one code name, and the kid would come up with this absurd one, and the mother was the only person who could make the connection. But the mother knew because a mother knows her son.
Right.
It was I would always be like, okay, please tell me, how did that happen? She's like, well, this connects with that, it connects with this, connects with this, and I was like, no, none of that works.
Yeah.
And she goes, you have to understand a 7-year-old boy's mind.
So yeah, you're trying to get. So you have like the secret thing, and you're trying to beat the other team. And you have one word. You can only use one word clues.
Yeah.
And you try to get the other person to guess. So you have like these 9 words or whatever that you're trying to get your teammate or teammates to guess, while the other team is trying to get theirs while not guessing the other people's room. So you've got a secret thing that you can see. I don't remember exactly how that works. The other person can't see.
There's a card that defines the board essentially, and then tells you which words are yours and which words aren't. And it's a pretty ingenious game.
It is.
So it's one of those that's so simple and it's perfect because of the simplicity of it.
Right. So you want to use a word, like let's say on the board there's the word pirate and treasure, and so let's say pirate and treasure are both on the board along with a whole bunch of other words.
I'm gonna lighten up a little more.
But your team is trying to get pirate, but the other team is trying to get treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to come up with a word that connects
Right.
you to pirate, but not have them guess treasure, because you can guess more than one word. And the real key when you get good is try to use one word that gets people guessing multiple words, because that's how you win. It's like one word can mean 3 things and does not connect to these other words. So it's really fun. Exactly. I have not played Duet.
I think I bought that for my mother, and I think I may have played it once. That's a vague memory. It could have been a dream. I don't know.
Well, see, since I never play 2-player games, no, I don't have a whole lot of 2-player games, because I really actually don't ever. I don't often play 2-player games. I'm generally in a group playing games, and
right.
I'm often looking for larger player games because I often get invited over to a family's house or whatever,
right.
and so I need games that play a large number of people. Normally, like 4-player games don't work because if they have like 2 or 3 kids and the parents, and then there's me, so
right.
Yeah, so it's a little bit hard. So, but yeah. Anyway.
It seems to me like there are 3 levels or 3 species of games.
Oh, I am so excied to hear you say
and
that.
Not on technique. So there are many more
no.
in technique, but there's like the standard level of board games that everybody grew up playing, Monopoly, Life, and those games. And then there's a second level where it's a little more complex, or maybe not more complex, but it's a different game format. I put games like Ticket to Ride in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like one step above
Still
Monopoly.
super popular.
And then there's a third level of games. And anytime that I like the second level of games. Anytime that I brought into the third level of games, so I wanted to run away screaming. Because that third level just doesn't connect with me. I don't know what it is. I always start questioning why all the rules are the way they are, and
yeah. And I love that third level of game. Well, I love the second and third level, both of them. I'm not much for the first level. So.
Right.
They're not very fun.
Well, I think that but I think sadly, maybe we're going on too long about this, but I think that I think a lot of people's experience with board games is experience that's not necessarily very pleasant, because they think of Monopoly or Sorry or whatever, games that end up in fighting and that go on too long, or Risk or whatever, and it's just But games have really evolved over the past several years, and they've really tightened up rules, and there's a whole variety of games.
It is fascinating to look into the logic of games.
It is. I
Mhm.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of just better games out there, and
Mhm.
those are the kinds of.
So I really loved Risk in high school. My friends and I would play Risk, and that's always made me think that I would love something like Axis and Allies.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Is that terrible? Do you think I'd run away?
No.
No.
Axis and Allies is not too complicated. It's just long.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
time consuming.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried to play it this past year, but it just took up too much of our time.
I played a lot of Axis and Allies with my brother growing up.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I very much enjoyed that. But again, I think that a lot of these modern board games have noticed that and said these games are too long,
Yeah.
and have said what gives us the experience of Risk or Axis and Allies, but plays in an hour or 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so those are the kinds of games that generally come out. Now they still make long games as well,
Right.
but for all of those older games, there's a I would say there's a better version, an improved version of those games. If you like
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a better version of Sorry. Or if you
Mhm.
kind of like Sorry, or if you kind of like Monopoly, there's a better version of that. If you kind of like Risk, there's a better version of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you ever considered writing your own game?
I have, and I have sketched out some things, but making a game takes a whole lot of time, and you have to like play test it with different groups.
Yeah.
And I just
That could be fun. Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
well, it could be, but then I also think there's probably better things that I could be doing with my
You're
time
You're
as a
probably
priest
right. You're
than.
probably right. But I'm just trying to think like what theme would
Well,
so go ahead.
so
So this is almost a game in and of itself.
It
like,
is. Well, so I
can we guess what theme Father Kent would have for a board game?
Well, I have sketched out 3 kind of games a little bit, and it was mostly, and I fully recognize it's mostly just a brain exercise for me,
Mhm.
because that's the other problem with games is there's hundreds of games that come out every year, and we don't need any more to be quite. I need more, but you don't need me making a game because it's kind of like everyone in Washington is in politics or whatever. Like if you go to like the restaurants, well, they're studying political science or whatever. So there's like,
right.
or everyone in New York is an actor, or in Los Angeles is an
Mhm.
aspiring actor. Pretty much every board game player is an aspiring board game designer. We
Yeah.
got plenty of them, but I have come up with a few ideas for designs. Sushi Go is awesome. I have Sushi Go Party,
Yeah.
but Sushi Go itself is also really good. Sushi Go Party gives you just more options to play with. I really like that one myself.
Mhm.
But Sushi Go is a great game.
I
Yeah,
like that.
it's another quick one to
Mm-hmm.
pick up.
Real quick, real fun. It's what's called a drafting game, and the premise of that is like you have cards in your hand. So let's say I have like start off with 7 cards. I pick one of those cards, and I get that card, but I pass the next 6 cards to the next person,
Mhm.
and then they get to look at those 6 cards. They pick one, they pass those to the next person. So the game is both what do I want, but also what do you want, so that I make sure that you don't get what you want. So do I draft this just because I don't want you to have it, or
Yeah.
whatever? So
That's great.
It's fun.
There was this game that we had at Most Hard Mary that Father Greg and I never ended up playing, but I had a grand scheme for this game because it was called, I believe, the Papal Conclave game.
Oh, okay.
And it was
I
a
think I
board
played
game.
that, yes.
Really? Okay, it was a board game, and the whole premise is that you're trying to get elected pope,
Trying
I
to be
think,
pope.
or something like that,
Uh-huh.
right? And so
That might be Sean Tunic's game. Maybe he left it there.
Oh, okay, maybe. So I don't
Because I
have
played his
any.
copy.
I don't have any desire to be pope or to win this game, but I always wanted to play it with Father Greg and then have my own machinations to make him be elected pope.
Yes.
Because he would be so upset. What? No.
Bring out Father
I
Greg.
keep getting elected pope. What is this?
Today's is Being with God show. We didn't have time to do the.
Where do you go?
He's
Way back
behind
there.
you. We didn't. Maybe it's too much work. I don't know. But we didn't have the Being with God show going up at the same time. We just ran out of time. We normally his show starts at 9:30, but we didn't get a chance to put him there. But could you do your impersonation of Father Greg being Pope again?
Why do people keep trying to get votes for me? I don't want this.
Very good. We need to put. Oh, I wonder if I still have the papal hat for him. I could put it on him. Let's see here. Oh, I do. Let's see here. His bishop hat. Oh, that's on me. That's no good. Let's see here. Let's put it right.
Mhm.
Where are you gonna put it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Every time we play this game, you guys always elect me Pope. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yes, very good. So yes, being with God, watch over there on the Mosby Hart show. Yes. I too have loved Risk, and I played a lot of that with my older brother and a little bit with my younger brother. So he introduced me to Risk.
Do you remember, was it Castle Risk? Was that a variation? Or
It was.
Okay. And wasn't there a Risk Europe?
Yep.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I had to make sure that all the pieces actually worked.
You're doing great.
The memory. When I was in high school, I did not study as much as I should have in my school day, and
I'm so shocked
I
to
know.
hear you.
What? And especially during my senior year, I had about 2 to 3 hours in one room. Was my play director's room and also the French teacher's room. So those were 2 to 3 hours of study halls, and they ended up being Risk playing halls. And my friends and I would play Risk. We had developed our own rules. That there was the main Risk board, then there was a Risk Europe board, and we combined all the rules between the two. So you could play with the Risk Europe and the Risk rules.
That's fun.
And it was all very complex. We had like a Google Doc that anytime there was a controversy, we settled it. We like put a date for the decision of every
Nice.
rule.
Nice.
I wonder if that even exists anymore. I don't know, but
That's fun.
That's awesome.
so like if you went into Europe, you got like transported into the Risk Europe board. if I remember
Cool.
right.
Oh yeah, it was like a focused in area.
Exactly.
That's cool. Nice.
And there's some rules that we liked better with Risk Europe. I don't remember what it was. Something about cards, I think.
Well, my favorite version of Risk and is this game called Risk Legacy. Now it's a commitment, but it's really cool. You play. So I played with Father Greg.
Okay.
And then Father Andrew Strobel and Father Sean Tunick. We played this thing, and it's a dedicated thing. You play 15 games of Risk, okay, which seems overwhelming.
Yeah,
However, this version of Risk, you play each game only takes like an hour, or maybe
so
90
only
minutes.
15 hours.
Well, right. I mean, you don't play it all in one session.
That's easy.
But what's really cool about this game is called Risk Legacy, and what happens is there's stuff in the box that's locked, and they don't get unlocked until certain conditions are met. And you like mark up the board, you put stickers on the board, so the game changes over the course of 15 games, and you see who's the overall winner. So like,
I see.
and if you win, you get a benefit, like you get to name a continent, and then you get a benefit for that, or you put this thing, and you
Nice.
can, or there's like a +1 or a -1
Right.
that you give the continent bonus.
Ashmoreland.
Right. I think Father Strobel names
Ashlandia.
Ashlandia.
That's great, Ashlandia. That's perfect.
Well, Father Andrew Strobel is naming everything after bacon. So,
Nice.
but anyway, so that Risk Legacy, it's a major commitment. But if you're sitting at home for a long time and you've got family that live with you and you're looking for a long experience that is really memorable, because there's a story that happens, because things unlock and then different things come into the game, and now like these different, it's pretty cool. But anyway. But it's also short, which is also great about, because Risk, I think, just still takes too long. But, anyway, so what else do we got going on here?
You never know what you're gonna get in the Fireside Chat.
That's right.
I have a pretty basic rule with Fireside Chat is if the thought comes into my mind, unless it really shouldn't come out of my mouth, it comes out of my mouth. So
That's good. Lean into the information. So yes. Well, I am kind of nerdy, and I do like my board games. But that's enough of that. What else are we? Hey,
you said you had two things.
I
you
do.
wanted to
Yeah.
talk
So
about.
before I forget that,
Okay.
we have the farmers market that starts up on Saturday. So notice on our Facebook page, I believe it starts at 8 o'clock. Let me check. Are you able to pull that Facebook up for the
For the
for the what are the hours of the farmers market? I
me
think it's
see.
Saturday 8 to noon.
8 to
Remember,
noon.
hey, they're mowing today, so that's fun. Remember the refugee farmers that we had last year? They're back, but we don't have like big open masses this year. So we are having. They are coming to be with us. They will be outside. So people often go to farmers markets on Saturdays, and so we are having our own farmers market. It's a beautiful thing. It's a program called Roots for Refugees, and it's a win-win-win situation, I think, for everybody. You are supporting the refugees directly. You are getting good vegetables, and so it's win-win for everybody.
So a little bit of background for this program itself. I think this is one of the really shining stars of our programs for refugees and any persons from Catholic Charities in the region, because it does such a beautiful thing insofar as it teaches the refugees how to provide food and how to engage in the economy in the United States. So many refugees are coming forth and they're farmers in their countries, but you can't grow the same things that you can grow in Nicaragua here or Laos or wherever they're coming from, Cambodia. There's different climate, there's different soil, there's different economies, so you can't just walk down to your street corner and sell vegetables. You can, but that's not, okay. You can do that, but you can't. You're not going to feed your whole family off of a corner vegetable shop in the United States in the same way. And so what Catholic Charities does is it helps certain refugee families learn how to farm in the American culture, in the American ground system, agriculture, and then teaches them how to engage in the economy also. So what we're really doing is we're empowering them to live as full citizens of our country and full participants in our economy, which is, I'm a big fan of this program, and I love that we have it at Good Shepherd.
Yeah, me too. So I think it's great. It supports them. It supports what they are doing. It helps them to get involved in the economy. It's a great program. Now I will say this. I think that I have nothing to do with like the pricing of the vegetables. And I think that there was some concern that maybe the vegetables were maybe a little bit more expensive than they might find other places. And I think that they had some visit, and I think that, again they're learning the economy, they're learning what's reasonable and everything. But the other thing is, you can get quality vegetables. I don't think we want to necessarily be value shopping or whatever. Because same thing with like coffee. Like you can buy cheaper coffee, but to buy like coffee that supports the farmers directly is generally fair trade. That's generally more expensive because it's fair trade, right? So it might be a little bit more expensive than you might find other places. But I think that we are the impact is if you're spending a couple more dollars or whatever, you're actually supporting the refugees. And so when we go and we support something like we might like at the auction too. You might get something at the auction that you might spend way more money for an item, but it's supporting a cause that you believe in too. So it's kind of the same kind of thing. So I really encourage us. If you need to get vegetables anyway, consider supporting out this Roots for Refugees program. Maybe you pay a little bit extra, and that's not maybe can work for all families. But if you can spare a couple bucks, and maybe if it is a little bit more, and I don't know what the pricing will be this year, but I did hear a little bit of feedback last year, but just wanted to throw it out there as well.
Exactly.
So,
Other things you were wanting to talk about?
So that was it. There was the shout out and this. Those were the two things.
Alrighty.
I had to make sure that because Ruth had mentioned that to me because I mentioned that at the fireside, and I had forgotten until now. So.
Right. So the market is an excellent idea. They're so nice, and their produce is very good and good quality.
I concur.
I agree with that. I think that's one of the beautiful ways that we as Christians can support.
I'm sorry if you're hearing the outside noise. I don't know if you can, how much the microphone is picking it up, but
they thought the music was bad yesterday. Wait until you hear the weed whacker.
I have brought in backup today. You don't like the music? All right, bring in the weed whacker.
So, oh my.
Carry on.
No. One of the beautiful things is that we can really assist the people in growing a certain level of subsidiarity, a certain level of capacity to function within our community on their own. And so when you're assisting those, when you're buying vegetables and whatnot, what you're doing is you're not only buying good vegetables, but you're helping to teach them in a very real way.
Right.
And so it's part of our solidarity with them to
Right.
help them in their own subsidiarity, which
Yeah.
are the two principles of Catholic teaching.
Yeah.
Subsidiarity, which is that power and service should always be done at the lowest part of the operation, one might say.
Yeah, the lowest
And
level
lowest level
possible.
lowest
right?
level possible. And solidarity, which means that we all are in this together,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
You can put those two things, that we need to support each other, but all organizations and all power should go to the lowest common denominator, lowest element possible, so that the assistance is coming within the groups themselves. So there's
Mhm.
solidarity throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Those are the two pillars of Catholic social teaching. So that's partly why our church functions the way it is, that most of the assistance that people experience from the church as a whole is not from their archdiocese, it's from their parish.
Yeah.
That's subsidiarity.
Right.
And most of the time that's in a particular group in the parish.
Right.
And but all the parishes work together, so there's that
Mhm.
solidarity.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I've talked about often with Call to Share, the principle of subsidiarity is what can be done at the local level should be done at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
But some things can't be, and so we come together as an archdiocese to do projects like a youth camp, or like marriage preparation, or like the diaconate program. Not every parish can or should do their own diaconate program. We have to do this
Mhm.
as a group, and so these kind of things fund those things that can't be done at the lower level.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, John, do you have anything on your docket or on your heart to talk about today?
No, I don't actually. I'm just kind of along for the ride.
All right, very good. Did you have anything else that you were wanting to share? Any other questions? What's going on? What are you doing for yourself? We're in kind of a new period of this whole. I'm not sure if we're in quarantine. We're still in pandemic land,
Mhm.
but maybe
Yeah.
not in quarantine land. But we're in a
Mhm.
new era of pandemic land in the summertime.
Yes.
School is over, I think, for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I
I don't
think
know if-
basically everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's still people in school at this time.
Mhm.
Sometimes people go into June.
Right.
Some school districts. I don't know where people are, but
That's what my school district was when I was growing up. When I was in high school, pardon me.
went into June.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Generally like June 5th or so.
Yeah, that sounds horrid to
Yeah,
me.
you start a little later though.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with farming, agricultural
Sure,
cycle,
right.
Right.
and
Right.
the way the moon is looking that day. That sort of
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went to school.
The best description of lunar cycles. The way the moon is
It's
looking
looking
that
at
day.
Let's get that on the quote there. The way the moon is looking. That can we get a picture of him doing this? I don't know. The way the moon is looking. This crescent roll, whatever it is. So yeah, I don't think I ever went to school past Memorial Day. I don't remember ever doing that. That sounds
No.
horrid. That was like the. So yeah, my birthday is August 14th, and so anytime school would start, and never in my time did we start at August 14th, but that was like no, birthday first, then school,
Yeah.
and then never after Memorial Day. So those were a couple principles that I would say there. Oh, did we hear what Father Ashmore did over there? We did not. Thanks, Jenny.
No, we did not. So
Do share.
So over the Holy Weekend, from Sunday evening to Wednesday morning, I went with a friend to his family's lake house in the Lake of the Ozarks, and it's a brother priest of mine that we've seen a lot of each other. We're in the same priest prayer group, so we get together frequently. And we did not go to any of the parties, I promise. I heard about those parties, but I did not see any of them in the flesh. I can promise
Good.
you that.
Lake of
So-
the Ozark is a big place. It's a
Yes.
big lake, so
Mhm.
yes.
We just stayed within our own little lake house, and we went onto the water a couple times.
Nice.
So it
Sounds
was a
like-
great time, very relaxing. I read a lot. I was very excited. I have to tell you guys,
Oh boy.
I have been working on this long book called The Natural Desire to See God, according to St. Thomas and His Interpreters. It was by one of my professors in college, up in theology school, so the last 4 years. It was about 450 pages long, thereabouts. And I've been working on it for 10 weeks. And I finished it on Tuesday, I think. I was sitting there in the afternoon, and I was on the back porch. Father Carter Zielinski comes over, sits down. He starts talking. I say, wait, 1 moment. Read another moment. I shut the book and I go, hear ye, it is finished. It was great. It's a really fantastic book, but it was it was a bit of a break at times. So. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you about it perhaps at some point, but
Sure.
it's pretty complex Thomistic theology, but it's very fascinating. It's a very
Probably over
fascinating
my head.
question.
No, I mean we just
We can talk about it. But that was my big accomplishment over the week. I finished the book I'd been working on. So.
Wow.
Congratulations.
And I started another book.
What did you start?
It is called St. Thomas on the Incorruptibility of the Soul.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So, defending why the soul perdures into after death.
Okay.
Exactly. And essentially, why what we would call it's a substantial form which survives the death of the body. So, so I've always been fascinated by that topic, and I wrote a paper on it in college. And I remember doing well on it, but still having some lingering questions. So I'm returning back to that old metaphysics, and I'm just nerding out. It's great. What else? Here's the thing, what I have to say. If you got 60, 70, 80 years if you're strong, as the Psalms say, why not use it to read?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Yes, good job. I don't know if that's Karen there. Yes, my ordination anniversary is this Sunday. So yes, all the priests. Well, most of the priests have been ordained May, June. So it's a big ordination celebration time. So most of us are celebrating that. So and then thanks to everyone for putting those thoughts there for Father Ashmore.
Those are very kind. Thank you very much.
So I wanted to do like a party or something for you, but. We're in COVID land, so they did it. Monsignor McGlynn, Father Charles, back in the day, did a surprise party for me for my first anniversary. It was quite sweet. I didn't see it coming. My family was there and everything. I'm like, oh, it's nice to see my family here. And then
I think some people at Coconut Sound at the Lake of the Ozarks trying to put on a surprise party. I just didn't show up.
Very good. Yeah, so my ordination anniversary, and I think I've talked about this a little bit before, is the Feast of the Visitation. Mm-hmm. And that was a great day to be ordained because what did we decide that level of feast was? It's a high level feast.
It's Marian Feast, I think.
Marian Feast,
yeah.
Feast of Visitation, did we decide that? I honestly don't remember what we decided.
It's not happening this year, but
but the other thing is that there are special prayers in the missal that the priest can pray on the anniversary of his ordination.
Oh, okay.
And I can never pray those, and I love it because it always gets trumped by the Feast of the Visitation. So I always have to pray those prayers. I do not have the option of praying in Thanksgiving for the ordination anniversary, which I love because then it's like I'll just put all the attention on Mary. That's all the better. So.
Yes, yeah.
But interestingly, someone was saying, let's see here. Bonnie said, John, be very careful. We do not know if nerdiness is contagious. So let me get a liturgical.
I'm already a nerd, so it's okay.
And if you're wondering, yes, I'm infectious.
We were so we're talking about nerdiness. Is we don't celebrate the Feast of the Visitation at all this year because it's on Sunday, which is Pentecost, and then sometimes those feasts then get moved to the Monday. But Pope Francis declared the Monday after Pentecost
Memorial of Mary, Mother of the Church,
and June 1st. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me, it's a celebration of the dedication of the cathedral in Kansas City, Kansas, which I think is an obligatory feast or something.
Right. I need to look that up because there is.
Do you have your order?
No.
Yeah. You don't have an order?
No.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, can I be honest? What I do? This is what we young priests do. USCCB.org.
That's what I do too, but I got criticized by Father Sean saying, but you miss these because sometimes you do miss these kinds of things that are in the order that you don't so.
You're right. I'm not perfect.
Susan was asking how were you called to the priesthood, which gets into the. So my sister also had several questions about this too, and how were you called to the priesthood, and then, and my sister then sent me a message about reflecting upon my upcoming anniversary. What things have you been surprised about, or were different than your expectations? Have there been things or ways you could have been prepared for more or better? And what things were you wished you were learned prior to becoming a priest? So I think, at least for me, I think the seminary formation has improved since I was ordained. I think that's pretty safe to say. I probably could have used 2 years of philosophy rather than 1 year. I only had the 1 year of philosophy, so I was a little bit on the quick track because back in the day...
He didn't need as much formation as I did.
That's not true, but I think that things have gotten better with the formation and the training and the education.
Look,
So
he rejects my backhanded compliments.
right. No. I think I needed plenty of formation. That being said, I think I was well prepared to be a priest. I think that they trained us well, even in in my dark ages or whatever it is. As Father Ashmore might sometimes refer to my seminary training, but
Never.
I was getting a little closer. But I think I was well prepared. I don't think that there was much more that could have been done to prepare me better. I felt well prepared. I felt prepared to celebrate the sacraments. There were some. I think I could have been trained a little bit better in some, like the time management stuff that we got extra training in later, a few years later, and scheduling, how to run a meeting, and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Those are really hard, or at least were hard to teach. But there's another program that I did called the Good Leaders, Good Shepherd, which is really good. And that kind of filled in some of the gaps for me about just administration, leadership, and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of that is addressed in your first 4 years of college if you are entering right out of high school. So if you we have two distinctions in seminary. There's minor seminary, major seminary. Those terms basically mean today, they've meant different things in the past, but they basically mean today college and grad school. So your first 4 years getting your bachelor's degree, your next 4 years getting however many master's degrees or equivalent degrees there are. And during those two times, the first 4 years, they all have what we call the four dimensions or the four pillars of formation: human formation, academic formation, spiritual formation, and pastoral formation. And so we experience growth in all four of those areas during those 4 years, and they've got different programs to help us grow in all those ways. Your first 4 years are more oriented towards human formation. Your next 4 years are more oriented towards pastoral formation. And so your first 4 years are when you learn more, who you are, how to manage time, how to do, how to be an adult. Because I was 18 years old when I entered into this process. So 18 to 22 are very crucial years. And so that's when you're developing your personality, developing all those things. And so if you've already gone through college, that 4-year process is squished down to, in your case, a 1-year process, and now a 2-year process. So
or a 3-year process.
Or a 3-year
for me.
process,
exactly. So
in Denver.
a lot of those things are just when you squish down a process, you don't get as much of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And now,
And that's not saying that's not saying that mine is better than his or anything like that. It's just, when you're looking at a process, things necessarily need to be squished.
Right. And even I think probably in most colleges, there is some of that human formation, even if it's not intentional. It just happens, Because I think a lot of my formation happened through the dance program that I had at KU. I learned a lot about interacting with people, and so there is lots of those things. And then just the general education classes that you take. I think regardless of what college. Now, some are better than others, and some are questionable or whatever. But I think there is human formation that happens to a certain extent, and that needs to be polished up if you go to a seminary as well. So
for sure. Like living in a dorm too. Like you learn a lot about yourself and how you interact with other people. Living in a dorm. So there's always that as well.
You were mentioning something else, but now I've forgotten what that was. But then, yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of it just comes that you can't learn everything in seminary. Lots of it just comes with experience. I think maybe you're finding that as well.
I think that's true for everything, really.
Right. I mean,
I'm always amused. This doesn't happen as frequently as it used to, but especially when I was in seminary, I would have people come up to me sometimes in the parish and be like, Father, I think they should teach this in seminary.
Sure.
I think they should teach that in seminary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, okay, look at all the things you are teaching. Where does that need to fit in here? Do you want me to go to another hour of class today for that? You're like, there's only so much you can do, even in 8 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I do say that that a big, I mean, especially like if I could do a little bit of an analogy, because I like doing those things, the associate pastor is something like doing your clinicals or whatever as a doctor. You're already a doctor, but there's a lot of on-site stuff that you have to do is it clinicals? Is that what they're called? Or
residency.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's maybe similar to like a residency where you might be saying, well, why doesn't he know everything already? Well, because he doesn't have any experience. That just comes with time. You learn how to do. I mean, homilies in the seminary, for instance, are very different than homilies in a parish, right? And now you hit the ground running. You've done great and everything. But I mean, even over the course of the year, I think I've seen just kind of adapting and tweaking and figuring out and interacting with people is different. And I had to learn all that stuff. I look back at my first year of because back in the day when I was first ordained, I used to write out all of my homilies word for word, Sunday homilies, not the daily homilies, but word for word, and I was up there and I read the whole thing. Palatino 14-point font, 1.5 spaces or whatever. My margins were also, I could tell the length of it by how much it was. And I saved all of those. And then I looked at those like 3 years later, I'm like, good Lord, did I actually say that in public? I'm like, why would I say such a thing? So you just kind of live and learn, and that was at least my experience. Is I wouldn't want to give any. I saved those homilies, but they're all pretty much trash because it's like I don't like any of these things. Or I liked a few thoughts, but I'm like I went way too much into this, or So you just kind of learn those things as you go along. I think so. And I was so proud of them at the time. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is so good. I'm so brilliant or whatever.
Yeah.
This is junk. So all these things you kind of learn over time and over years.
Yeah, it's just important that growth doesn't end when seminary ends.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. They say one of the worst signs for a priesthood is if somebody walks into the rectory and they see that the priest has all the same books that he had when he was in when he was in theology.
Interesting.
Because that means that he's taken no steps to grow at that time.
Right. Right. It's good. I have very few of my seminary books anymore. I saved them for a long time. I also had saved all my notes. I printed out all my notes from seminary. I saved those for a long time.
I took terrible notes. I nobody wants in my notes.
See, back in my day, I was way ahead of. I was like one of two people that took their laptop to class.
Oh yeah. You see, the thing is that they've started disallowing that now. Because they say that notes on laptop. Now I'm not sure. I don't actually subscribe to this, but a lot of seminary professors or even college professors are saying that notes on laptops aren't as effective.
Right.
Which I think there might be some truth to that.
I think so too.
But at the same time, you have your notes and I don't.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what I did, because I didn't have a laptop my first year, so I wrote all my notes and then I transcribed them all to the computer. That is really a better process.
That is a much better process.
Yes.
But it was also much more time consuming.
Yes.
And it was much easier just to go. But I learned it probably better. By doing that. So
because then you're processing it twice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what is the Latin phrase everybody I'm sure knows?
Wait, we got to do this ash cam here. We haven't done that all so long. So let me take you on the ash cam for the phrase of the day. Here we go.
Should I? Repetitio mater studiorum est.
Yay!
It means repetition is the mother of studying, or mother of education, learning, one might say.
Awesome. Very good.
So that's one of the reasons why at its base, you can talk about different styles of learning or different things like that. I don't think the psychology of that is as well founded as what people
Right.
make it out to be. But at the base end of the day, if you want to learn something, you have to repeat it.
Yep.
You have
Yeah.
to memorize it. You
Yep.
have to incorporate it as part of yourself. And you prefer to do that with images or words or
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
What matters is repetitio mater studiorum est.
Yep.
Repetition is the mother of studying. Mm-hmm.
And so when I teach the 8th graders, that's one of the things I teach them principles, and they have to learn those principles.
Mhm.
And at the beginning of every class, I make them repeat those principles, and so
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's
faith
one of
is
them?
certain. No.
Oh, okay.
But like principle number 1 is faith is certain. That's our starting point. Faith is certain. Comes right out of the catechism, and then we
Mhm.
build from there.
Yeah.
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. The church is the pillar and the bulwark of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, so thanks so much. I think we are out of time. An ordo is. Can you give a 20-second thing? of what
Sure. An
for
ordo
your
is a
dad?
book in which the local churches of an area, so that would be the different dioceses or not different dioceses, sometimes religious orders, basically calendar out the year with all the feasts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it will say like what color you're to wear each
Yeah.
day, and
So it's but there is the E Ordo, which is so it's not just the diocese. It's like a published book, and then there's like the regional things that are in there as well.
Right.
But you can get I always use the E Ordo, and I also use the USCCB because that's pretty easy. But you do miss some of those things because I never remember where my Ordo is, right? So, but we do have an Ordo over there in the sacristy.
Mhm.
We should probably look that up for Monday.
We should.
All right. Well, so thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you Monday morning, 10 o'clock for Fireside Chat, Rosary at noon. So thanks a lot.
Thank you all so much. God bless
Thank
you.
you.